let's go ahead and I'm going to transition. I'm going to switch my screen and I'm going to review a proposal for you. All right, now that we've transitioned over, we are going to review someone's proposal. So on the first page we're looking at, it has their client name and the project and the date. One thing you should actually put under the date for when you're actually doing the proposal is how long this proposal is good for. If you don't do that, someone could come up 3-4 years later and sign the proposal, and then you would do it. You have a little kangaroo picture. Cool. That's nice. So the next page, on page number 2, you have proposal versions. Really don't see that necessary. You can actually put that on the first one, but this is looking like a very technical proposal, so I would just get rid of that. I know you're trying to probably create this as almost like a scope document, so I'd probably get rid of that. So I'm going to go to page 3. I see a table of contents. Not needed, especially since you're going to be walking them through the proposal at first, so it doesn't have to be kind of laid out that way, because basically you have all these pages before we've even gotten to the content. So get rid of that. So now I'm going to go to page 4. Very good. You're following my steps on the executive summary. It's not to summarize what's in the proposal, but to summarize what they want. So you have kind of a template here that I'm looking at to say, hey, give me a little introduction, go over a little bit about the brief, explain to them what you've researched, and engage in the meetings to discuss their goals and requirements, discuss their problem, the time frame. You might not want to put, and also, well, yes, you want to put in their budget, and then this is a quick solution. So very good. Total development time. Yes, I like that. And then list the key features. Perfect. You can do that as well. And then you have kind of critical factors to success. So you just need to make sure you add meat to this, because right now you just say critical factors to success, and it says fast, usability, user experience, modern, up-to-date design, highly scalable. Kind of talk about those a little bit. And especially as you're walking them through the proposal, just so they understand that. Because a lot of times, once you walk them through the proposal, they're going to remember maybe 20-30% of it. Then they're going to go back through it. So you need to just make sure that you can kind of go through that, okay? All right, so went a little quick. So the next page you have is a required team. So you kind of go through, kind of the different roles from the front-end developer, the back-end developer, the designer, and the project manager. I'm glad you have these people. But then you also have hours/days and total months. I don't like this, dude. We need to get rid of this. I understand why people charge by the hour. It's because they probably charged by the project and probably got burned. So then they said, I'm going to charge by the hour. Or they just had a bad idea of how to scope stuff out, right? And so they were like, we're going to go to the hours. But what happens over time as you keep getting better and better, you're going to actually lose profit by charging by the hour. And people are going to look at you in a different way when you charge hourly, right? They're going to be like, well, can you really do it faster? Or I really don't believe it takes that much time. You need to start transitioning in order to sell on value rather than just trading time for money, which this proposal is kind of looking like right now. And plus, the team members, you need to put that almost toward the end, after you go through the pricing and after you go through about your company and that kind of stuff, okay? So put that at the end. All right, your approach, I like it. You go through your phases. Needs a lot more meat though, right? So you need to kind of talk about, that initial meeting. What are you going to be doing in the initial meeting? Proposal. So you basically have it kind of phase 1 initiation, and then initial meeting, and then you have proposal, including initial cost, this document. Don't know what that means. And then you have phase 2 definition, kickoff workshop, detailed and technical requirements. And then you have kind of a description. And I think the description starts going over the kickoff, what's in the kickoff and what's included, but you just need to add more meat to this, right? And you need to describe your process. Like, ours, we would say, in our strategy meeting, we're going to ask you very detailed questions, and we're going to be able to, kind of extract out what you, what do we say? Well, we all know this where, excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. The clients say, we'll know it when we see it. So you need to educate them and say, hey, we'll ask you the right questions in order to make sure we interpret what you want, because a lot of clients, they'll know it when they see it, but that's why we need to extract out this information so we can get there a lot quicker. Okay. The next page you have listing out the deliverables for, I think, the different phases. So hopefully what I would do is if you had 4 phases, I would have deliverables in each. And I would also put, I see you kind of have a timeline. That's good. I wouldn't put hours, but like when you say 1 to 2 days, to organize this workshop, that's fine. But just be careful, because sometimes they'll be like, oh, you're only putting 1 or 2 days into the strategy, which is some of the most important things. You just may want to bump that out. And especially too, if you keep getting more and more clients, we always kind of bumped out the first strategy for 2 weeks. So it gave us a buffer that we can kind of control rather than really kind of put what it really took. Okay. And then you go into phase 3, the deliverable or the delivery, if I could actually say that. You go over kind of the statement of work, what techniques. Okay, that's okay. All right, more deliverables. The more I look at it, I mean, you can go over the deliverables, but also define why they need these deliverables. What are they going to get? That's really, really important. I could tell you're very technical from this, and that's okay, but you got to kind of cross over, because non-technical people may not get it, and they may just be looking at this like, whoa. And this just looks like everybody else's proposal. So that's kind of why when you start figuring out, what does the client want in the long run? Why are they engaging with you? Why do they want this particular application or new website? What is it going to do for them? What's the impact? And you need to kind of sprinkle that throughout this proposal. All right, so let's keep closing down or scrolling down. Oh, I'm scrolling way too quick. All right. And then you actually go into the payment schedule, which it's very kind of confusing. Like you have a kickoff workshop, fixed price, and then you have amount invoiced, design initiation, 20%. Not sure what 20% is. Amount invoiced, 30%. Amount invoiced for testing, 30%. Final sign-off, 20%. Total, 100%. Payment terms, right, 8 days. I would change the payment schedule to 50% up front, halfway through the project, quarter, and then quarter at the end. And keep it simple. The more complex you make it, the harder it is for them to make a decision. So I would change that. And then you have a place to sign on the proposal. Great, very good. And then you actually have the terms and conditions under it. Perfect. So what I see it's missing is it doesn't tell anything about your agency. And that's very important. You need to put that. And now the other, for those listening and watching, do not put the about at the very top. You want to put the about section right after the pricing. Okay. And so then, like, after you go through everything, or actually, let me take that back. You want to put it probably right above the pricing. Right? So as you're going through the proposal, you have the cover letter, which you're also missing, right? So you need a cover letter before, and I've done a couple of videos on this where it's basically saying like 9 out of 100 people actually don't use a cover letter, or actually use a cover letter. Sorry. It's one of those days, right? So 9 out of 100 agencies use a cover letter, and a cover letter is so important. A cover letter is like your homepage. It's got to make them keep digging into it, because after you review the proposal with them, they're going to start passing it around, and they're going to review it again. So that you need to hook them and make sure that they read the rest of the proposal, and it makes you stand out from all the other proposals that they have. Okay, so then after your cover letter, you have your executive summary. Perfect, that's great. And then what you need to do after that is then break out your. We would break out our kind of categories. So if we had highly development, that would have a development section. If design, we would design, and the marketing. And then in each of those, we go through the deliverables. And what I liked is you did not have pricing in those, because you want to keep pricing at the very end so people don't get held up. And then after you go through that, then transition to the team members, and then about the company, right? And when I say about the company, it's like kind of like why you guys exist and what do you guys specialize in, just to kind of reiterate to them that you're the perfect match. And when you do that, then you'll actually start winning them. Then go over the pricing with them of everything that's kind of laid out, right? And you kind of have that in there above your team, which is good. And you have kind of kickoff. Now, the one thing I want to make sure, and we did this wrong, is we kind of itemized it. So if you guys do have my proposal template, we did itemize it. And if I could go back and change it, I would. And I would almost kind of categorize kind of the design, categorize the marketing, and maybe the development. That's about it. But I wouldn't kind of break out CMS and all the other stuff, because then clients, what you'll see is they'll go through and they'll start kind of crossing them out. Well, we don't need that. But they really do, because they've told you their biggest challenges. And so that's what I would do there. I like how you also listed out things that are not included. Let me see, where was that? But I remember seeing that on the document, and that was good. But yeah, so I'd make those changes. And then what I'd also probably do is use some type of really good presenting software out there, whether it be, Quala or Proposify or whoever, because then you could actually put rich media into the proposal and that kind of stuff. I mean, think about how powerful it would be if you created a little video, kind of like what I'm doing here, and then you actually put that somewhere in the proposal, so as they share it out, they would see your face and you walking them through it. The more interactive, I think, the better. So think about how you can do some of the screen flows or the videos on your proposals as well. I want you to join the conversation. Make sure you comment and subscribe. Thanks for giving me your most valuable asset, your time.